Okay, let's just get right to it, all right? A lot of people that saw King Kong versus Godzilla believe that Godzilla won the fight. Did you see the same movie that I saw? I don't think you did. Because I saw what actually happened. Godzilla cheated. I saw it. I know you saw it too. It was not a fair fight, okay? Godzilla didn't really cheat as much as he benefited from King Kong not being in peak condition at any point during the fight. You know what I mean? Let's start from the very beginning. On the boats, in the ships, in the middle of the ocean. First off, King Kong is tied up. Not just tied up, he's also been inside of one position for a really long time. Have you ever had to go on like a long drive somewhere and just had to stay in one position and you couldn't really move and adjust the way you want to? Your body starts to get stiff and it's just not good for somebody who's about to fight. You know what I mean? And what was Godzilla doing? He was doing the one activity that works out your entire body. Swimming. So when he came out that water, he was freaking ready for battle. Every inch of him was nice, loose, and ready to go. But not only was King Kong tied up for hours on a friggin' boat in the middle of the ocean, which is technically not his home field, how do you get an almost 400-foot tall gorilla on a boat all chained up and stuff? If you've seen any King Kong movie, you know exactly how they did it. They drugged him, and they drugged him a lot. They drugged him when they caught him. If you look at the back of his neck, you can see they had more drugs ready at the press of a button, ready to sedate him some more and more. So King Kong was not only sore, tied up, he was also drugged up. So when King Kong had to fight Godzilla, can you imagine having to fight somebody while you sleeping? That's not an easy thing to do. And you're doing this on a moving boat and you ain't got no home field advantage. Now, yes, he did do his thing when he first got on the boat. He knocked the hell out of Godzilla. Godzilla got a nice one back in, but then he picked him up and threw his fat ass in the ocean. Yes, Godzilla is fat. You just look at him. Look at them thighs. That's some thunder thighs right there. That's some fat thunder thighs, and Godzilla needs to work out. How do Godzilla even get that big? How do you get overweight and you 400 feet tall? Like, how does that even happen? There ain't enough food in the world, but he finds it. He finds too much, actually. Anyway, let's get back to the point. So Godzilla is fighting in the water, which is his freaking home, against King Kong, who's trying to fight on a boat that keeps getting destroyed, and he has to jump from one boat to another. And let's not forget this part of the movie right here. This is probably the coolest scene I've ever seen. A freaking fighter jet gets catapulted off an air carrier as King Kong lands on it. Very, very cool movie. I like that part. But the point is this. During this entire fight, King Kong was never in a position to be successful. He was drugged up, tied up, and he got beat up. Let's not forget Godzilla also cheated because he tried to drown him. Fight head up. Don't use the elements around you in a fight. You ain't supposed to do that. You're supposed to be a fighting dude, man. You're the king of the monsters. Why are you trying to drown folks? That's cheating. Anyway, so on to the next fight. Now, in this next fight, it's going to take a lot more backstory. I want to take you back to when King Kong was fighting those flying snake things. I don't know what they're called or whatever, but they're flying friggin' snakes. And they're very, very scary. Now, something I want you to notice. These snakes have hoods. Now, yes, technically they're wings, but they're hoods. And whenever you see a hooded snake, what do you think of? That's right. Cobras and black mambas. And what are those two creatures? Venomous. Very, very venomous and poisonous. I think poisonous and venomous may be the same thing. But anyway, if you look at it, some people may say, no, he wasn't venomous. You can tell because he didn't wait for him to die. He just wrapped him up. Okay, but this dude could also fly. He was a different snake. He wasn't like the rest of the snakes. But I will say this. Most constricting snakes, when they bite you, they hold on and they wrap you up. But snakes that bite and let go, you know what those are? Venomous friggin' snakes. And what did that snake do? He bit King Kong's arm and let him go. He put the venom in him. Now, yes, King Kong did eventually get out of the hole with a little help from his homeboys, but the point is this. Once the venom is in you, it's in you. And then Kong did the stupid decision of, instead of just, killing them or just eating from the other side of the snake, he eats from the friggin' venomous part of the snake, probably eating the entire venom sac of the snake. And I can prove this going forward. As he was running off, if you notice, once he got to the cave, he started to get a lot more lethargic. He starts to move around slower. He's not as jumpy and bouncy as he was before. It's like the venom is taking hold. And then here come Godzilla blasting a friggin' hole into the center of the earth. and he used up a lot of energy to do it. Also, I noticed this very cool shot. Look at the way Godzilla's ribcage lights up from all the power that's coming from inside him. This movie is freaking great. But also, just remember, now King Kong has his axe. He don't know what this thing does. He don't know how it works. But he pulls it out of a freaking skull of a beast that looks like it could be the skeleton of another older, bigger Godzilla. Put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to that. So he takes the axe out of the skull and proceeds to climb up out of the center of the earth, which I'm sure is a very, very, very long way. Now, with that said, once he comes out of this hole, he is tight, probably. But he still puts up a fight. And all of his venom is going through his body, he still puts up one hell of a fight against Godzilla. A fully charged, fully awake, fully exercised, and ready to go Godzilla could barely handle King Kong. Now, with that said, King Kong has an opportunity to kill Godzilla. If you notice, the biggest, most famous part of the movie, in all the commercials you see this, I always was wondering, how did Godzilla not die right here? Because Kong obviously was going for the headshot. If you notice, Kong missed. How does Kong miss? The venom. The venom was taking effect and he was a little disorientated. That's what happened. If you notice, the axe hit just left of Godzilla's head, causing the big massive explosion that sends both of them flying. Kong ripped the axe out of the head of another Godzilla, in which that's how that Godzilla got killed. And that's what Kong was trying to do, but he couldn't because he was fooled with poison. And then Godzilla proceeds to take advantage of him when he really starts to slow down. Scratches him up, dislocates his shoulder. And first off, who scratches? That's not gangster. You shouldn't be scratching, folks. What type of man scratches another man? You ain't supposed to do that. And even after all the scratching and stuff, Godzilla does a fat man attack and he steps on him. That's a fat person attack right there. Only fat people will threaten to step on somebody. You know, like I've been in 6 fights with fat people and they've always threatened to step on me. Like, I'm fat too, so I can make these jokes. Anyway, this is actually one of the funniest parts in the movie. I've never seen Godzilla actually just say the words, ouch, that hurt. King Kong punched him in that old fat leg of his, right in the scar from the axe. They specifically said that King Kong's heart was slowing down. Now, if Godzilla's fat foot was still on his chest, that would make sense. But his foot was no longer on his chest. So what was causing King Kong's heart to slow down? I told you, the venom inside of his body. He was still trying to get the venom out of his system. He was fighting Godzilla full of poison and whatever leftover sedatives they had from when they was pulling him to the North Pole. They drugged him up for that too. They just constantly drugging this monkey up. They so used to drugging King Kong, they didn't even show it in this movie. Everybody just know that's how you get King Kong, you give him drugs. He has a problem. He has a real problem. But anyway, now to bring it all together, the last fight with Mega Godzilla. This is something I want to point out. Now, King Kong is down. His heart is going out. He's dying, right? Godzilla, he's a little worn out, all right? I'll give it to him. So, okay, even though Godzilla is a little banged up, he's nowhere near as banged up as Kong was when he was fighting Godzilla. Nowhere near. He's a little bruised up, a little tired. His atomic breath doesn't have the same kick as it did when he was first fighting Kong and stuff. But he was still good enough to fight, right? Now, this is the thing. For the first time in the entire movie, we get a King Kong at about 90%. Now, how do I know that? One, the reason he wasn't 100% is because his shoulder was still hurt. He had to pop it back in place. That doesn't heal anytime soon. So I put him at about 90%. The reason he's so high up though is because if you think about it, when he fell down, it was nighttime. When he woke up, it was daytime. And he didn't just wake up. He got a friggin' electrical charge to the chest that restarted his heartbeat. He was up and at it. For the first time, he wasn't under any sedation. He probably got all the poison out of his system. He was ready to fight. If we're being honest, Mega Godzilla was absolutely wiping his butt cheeks with Godzilla's face and tongue for the entirety of that fight. Godzilla didn't even come close to being any threat to Mega Godzilla. Let's just be honest. Now, when King Kong entered the fight, he immediately made a difference. Yeah, he caught a couple hits, but if you notice, once his axe got charged up, Mega Godzilla was not even a small threat to King Kong. King Kong literally took him apart. Easily. A 90% King Kong absolutely eviscerated a Mega Godzilla that was just finished wiping his butt cheeks with Godzilla's face. And if King Kong could take out Mega Godzilla that easily by himself with literally just a charged up axe, what if King Kong would have knew how the axe worked before Mega Godzilla got there? He would have systematically ripped Godzilla apart and killed him that quick and ripped his head off. That's exactly what would have happened to Godzilla. But it didn't happen. But I refuse to sit here and listen while you guys say that Godzilla just beat King Kong. It didn't go down like that, sir. Anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed my little breakdown of King Kong versus Godzilla, please subscribe. You can watch some more. I'm going to be making some more. More stuff coming soon. Subscribe. Holla Chihuahua. Deuces. Look at them thighs. Them some thunder thighs right there. Them some fat thunder thighs, and Godzilla needs to work out.